Tigers Talk. Origin. Bit of a letdown, mate.
Bit sad,
like kissing
mate,
your sister.
We won the comp.
On the quick, we won the end of the day. Hey, unfortunately, the Tigers, they went away on the road last weekend and it got a bit of a touch-up. It was close at half-time, but after that, it was all one-way traffic.
Yeah, so they scored a couple of early tries, and then that was put the queue in the rack, more or less. Well, not necessarily, but that was the end of the game for the Tigers.
PNG this weekend?
Always hard, mate. Well, they come out tough.
Well, not this weekend, but yeah. Yeah, it won't be easy. I've slipped down a bit. I spoke to Zak Taibi, who went up there as 18th man, about how they got on, and then we also spoke to Lachlan West, who's part of the Colts side, who went to Pigby, and again they can't get the win down there, so unfortunately. And as we do a Tigers Talk, we talked to club legends. Who did you have this week, mate?
Yeah, I had club legend Scott Nielsen on today. An interesting story. Premiership winner in '91, and Andrew Ross as well, who's involved with the Colts here. So a couple of interesting interviews. So
check them all out. We're going to kick start with Rosco, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tiger Talk back again, and I'm here with a bit of a gentleman who's been around the traps a little bit. We'll talk about that as we get through it. But Andrew Ross, welcome to Tigers Talk, mate.
Thanks, bud.
Good to have you on board, my friend. I'll start with an easy question, so I'll get into the harder ones later because I know you love that. How did you get involved with the Tigers, mate? Like you've got a bit of a history coming through, but just talk about the Tigers for now.
Tigers for now. 2005. Pre-season 2004. Alfonso Miranda, the great Fonzie. Gave me a ring, and he was coaching the Colts at the time, and he said, come over and give us a hand over here with the Colts, and been here ever since.
How did you know Fonz?
Well, I knew him from he was coaching Wynnum, and he was at Logan City, the Mighty Scorpions there for a couple of years when I was there, so... so he just gave me a ring, so we kind of formed a good friendship from there. So which is good.
So mate, you've been involved in Brisbane Rugby League, and obviously since I think we were just talking again since the '90s thereabouts. So tell us a little bit about your managerial / any other trait that you've got.
Well, I was over at I was a brothers boy, and from about '92 onwards, I wasn't a great player back then, so I just went into the managerial...
Don't sell yourself short, mate. This is where you talk yourself up.
Yeah. But anyway, so about 92, I just went, from the open grades and worked myself up to, reserve grade, and then, brothers finished in 98 after that season. So, then I went on to Logan City for a couple of years, and there was a fair drive going over there.
Would you have been with the famous Tommy Raudonikis over at Brothers in the coaching days?
No, that was just a little bit before my time.
Was it? Okay.
But I do remember him over there. But so I was only just a young fella back then. So
mate, you're the Colts manager now. How are you finding that? How are you finding getting back and mingling with the young fellas?
Mate, they're good. They're a good bunch of groups. They're a good group. The Colts boys this year, they're a pretty close-knit group, the Colts boys this year, so which is good. So I enjoy my time with them. I don't go and drink in the valley with them, but I'm too old for that. So, but no, they're a good group.
You must be a pretty good influence on them, mate. They're going really well, and it can't all be all down to Glitto, surely.
No. Well, that's correct, mate. I tell him not to talk that very often. They put him to sleep before the game. So
who puts them to sleep? You do?
No, Glitto. no, Glitto's doing a good job.
How do you like? I've talked to the players about Glitto as a coach, and they're very impressed with him. He's pretty stern, and he likes to set the rules. How do you find him, mate?
No, he does a good job, mate. He knows when it's he knows how to have a good time with them. But once we cross the line, doing the cross the white line out there, it's business, and he gives them a bit of a hurry up every now and again if they're getting a bit ahead of themselves. But but he's doing a good job.
Mate, so you've been to a few clubs in your time, as we mentioned earlier. Obviously, you've had the experiences there. Yeah. What are the Tigers any different? Does anything different? I mean, obviously, as the years go by, the game develops and the players develop and that as well. But from your point of view, what's the changes that you've seen through your career?
Today they're more athletic compared to what it was back when I was back at Brothers and all of that. So they're more athletic they've got the athletic build and all of that type of stuff. So they look after themselves a bit more better these days, not like the old days. But
What, they don't drink beer on Friday and Saturday night before
no,
Sunday game?
I like to encourage it, but they don't do it these days. So
I often throw this question as the last one. So there's usually a pest in amongst the group. A common name's come up a couple of times. What's your view?
Plaffy's always the main culprit.
That's him. That's the name that's come up.
He's got someone in the background always encouraging him to do it, so not mentioning names. But
no, you're allowed to mention names. It won't go
there. Could be me encouraging.
It won't go there.
So, and there's Payne, of course, Jordan Pinkwood. So they're the two main ones. So,
mate, thanks very much for joining us.
That's all right, mate.
Take care. Look after yourself and keep those Colts on the straight and narrow, mate. You're a good influence on them,
mate,
obviously.
they're a good group, so I enjoy my time with them, mate. So,
thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
See you, mate.
Man to my left is electrifying to say the least. He can bust a line. He's exciting to watch. Not since somebody like Gavin, Payne and myself, John Devine, has been a more electric player on the field. Zak Taibi, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. I wouldn't put me as that, but close too.
You'll get there.
Payne's a little level above.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, listen, let's talk about the Tigers, mate. How did you get here, mate? You're a bit of a local, but how did you end up here at Totally Workwear?
I started way back in probably, I think, 2013 maybe. I started with the Brisbane East affiliates, which was a mix of the Brisbane, Macravat East and Springwood Tigers. And then I ended up at Springwood after that and then made my way through Cyril Connell, Malmaninga, Colts, and then, now Cup. So.
And they built the stadium for you too, because of your loyalty.
I've been saying it since 2012.
that was a clincher? You built me a stadium, I'll come.
Yeah,
perfect, all right. Hey, listen, you obviously... you had a pretty ordinary offseason. You had a bit of a shoulder recon. Is that back to 100%?
Yeah.
I'd say
as good as it can be. Yeah. So it's obviously not as it was before it.
Does that make you play smarter?
Yes and no. Like you learn to use it, but at the same time you don't want to be reserved. You want to be able to go out there and use it as best you can.
All right. Obviously, you like to play a little bit more cup, but at the moment you're part of the Bulimba Bulldog side. When you got asked to go to Kilcoy, I think we've got footage or a photo of you when you were asked to go to Kilcoy.
Here's a stitch up.
So
where are you getting this stuff from?
You said, I don't really want to go to Kilcoy. Should have just said so. But listen, 18th man means that Matthew Church, I believe you got some talent, mate, to go up there to make the trip up to Kilcoy.
Yeah, it's always good to, get a call that you're going to be with the Cup squad, but you can't say no to. So even if it's just 18th man, I'm happy to put my hand up and go up there.
But you're part of that environment?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I've played, I think, 6 games this year or 5 games this year, so I've been in and around it.
Fantastic, mate. Now, what do you do outside of footy, man? What's your favourite pastime? I believe you were into, you got a collection of toys, and not from Naughty But Nice, but other stuff.
This is Kevin stitching me up again. I've obviously got the boat. That's my sort of main hobby. I go fishing quite a bit.
Right.
And try and get into diving and spearfishing. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, when you say fishing, are you saying deep sea? Do you like to go out to 1770, that sort of stuff, or you just like going out here in the bay?
Yeah, I go out in the bay quite a bit, but I do go offshore. Like I go off the Gold Coast quite a bit, mate, 30 k's offshore by myself. And hit some fish, which is pretty cool. Fantastic.
And you're obviously pretty fit. Bulimba flying high on top of the ladder. You played a lot of games for them in the BRL competition as well. So this weekend up against Brighton. It'll be a tough ask. The Roosters are starting to come back. They've won about 5 on the trot. They're the smoky at the moment, but you've got to play them with Jim Lowry. It'll be a tough assignment.
It will be, yeah. And that's a big one for us at Bulimba because we win this. We've got an easier game next week. I'm not going to say anyone's easy, but if we win both those, we finish top of the ladder. So that's a real good carrot going into the final series. So.
As I said at the start of the show here, you've got the pace and the guile and the swervery of a Gavin Payne, like dodging a shout, that sort of swerving. Hey, but you've played in the centres, you've played at fullback. Where do you prefer?
I prefer fullback,
yeah.
But at the same time, I sort of got to listen to what coaches see me as and play in positions that are going to give me a better opportunity to come back up here. So. Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at.
Well, you got it's pretty lethal. You got Nappy Gavin on one side, and obviously you got yourself on the other side. Then Jack Stafford's in the mix as well. So there's certainly a lot of play stuff for grabs here. Well, listen, we'll let you go, mate. Thanks for coming down. We know it's a bye weekend, so you've come down here just for Tigers talk. And Gav will send you a check. He'll probably bounce,
$1,000.
Well, he's got that in his pocket. So Zak Taibi, and I do mean it, mate. Watching you play footy in broken play, there's none better, mate. And ball in hand, you look absolutely outstanding. I thought you had a great game against Normby that weekend as well. So certainly good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Zak Taibi.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome back to Tigers Talk. I'm here with Scott Nielsen, Tigers legend, mate. Been around the club for a long time as well. We'll come back. I'll start at where you are now, and then I'll come back and go through your history a little bit, mate. So obviously played a lot of footy through juniors and so forth, and seniors as well down here. Moved on from that. Currently working down the wharves, driving expensive cars, mate. How's that?
Yeah, not too bad. Do a fair bit of new cars, and I'm also up in the crane now, ship's cranes and stuff like that. So yeah, no, big trucks and excavators and tractors and you name it, so I can drive all sorts of things.
Bit of jack of all trades, mate. There's a few of the boys down there that you'd be familiar with as well, I believe.
Yeah, no, there's a few down there. So I still do some tiling as well, so I'm still keeping my hands dirty doing that as well.
Famously did a bit of tiling at my place, mate.
Still there
time
too.
ago. Yeah,
Still there.
Still holding up too. Must be a good job, eh?
No.
Going back to the start, mate. As I said, you're a Tigers man through and through. Came through in the juniors, into the senior ranks. Just tell us a little bit about your story with as far as that goes.
Yeah, like I just loved it. Sort of played ages 6 through to 8s and 9s, and parents built a house at Noosa on Noosa Sound up there, so we used to go up there for the weekend. So I missed a few years and come back in the 13s through to sort of Colts, and a couple of years Colts and reserve grade, and then so I played a lot of reserve graders as well as first grade, but just loved it. I wish I could do it all again.
Off camera we were talking, you're very successful through the juniors as well, and had some of transpose some of that success into the senior grades as well.
Yes, good coaches. So Stan Neve and Terry Moss and guys like that, and Steve Plowman, good guys.
Yeah. Mate, 91, you came into grade. I think we were talking off camera again about 1989, played a few games in 89, and then sort of a bit more settled in 1990. 91 we got to the big dance with Langy coaching. It's a game that you'll remember, but also part of it that you was a bit infamous in the rugby league history of the BRL.
Yeah. So I have no recollection of the game, obviously, but it's not a sort of pleasurable experience for me for the day. But it was I went overseas. I had a contract, well, not a contract, but a train on sort of game with Halifax 3 or 4 days later, and I was pretty messed up. But I had a fractured shoulder anyway. I played 7 games over there with a fractured shoulder, which wasn't fun. So, but I got back and end of January, start of February in 92, and they realised I went to the same X-ray, and they realised that it was been fractured up for 5.5 months. So had an operation a couple of days later, missed all the trial games, and then played 22 A-grade games, and in the big dance, unfortunately lost 92, 93, 95, 97. But I was lucky.
Remind me.
I was lucky to retire when I did at 2000 with a testimonial and a win in reserve grade.
Yeah, mate. Just back to the 91. In case you can't remember, I've watched it 1,000 times that game. You probably watched it a fair bit too. It was a pretty nasty piece of illegal play that took you out. And I remember Darren Wilding's having a chat to the gentleman on the way past during the game, and it was too many expletives to put on camera here, but he didn't last on the field much longer. He was subbed off very quickly by the opposition coach. So went on, unfortunately, 92, unsuccessful, as you said. I got into the coaching in 95 and 97. We weren't quite as lucky there either. Luck probably doesn't come into it. We had the opportunities to win those games, I think, but unfortunately that didn't occur. You kicked on with your career, as we said earlier, till about, I think it was 2000.
Yep.
Playing 193 games, which puts you probably in the top, I would say, half dozen games for players at the club. You must be very proud of that.
Yeah.
Being coming through as a junior as well.
Oh, for sure. And there were 78 reserve grade games as well. So
Wow.
The year that I had the knee reconstruction, I played 6 minutes of the first game in Toowoomba. So, there was a year gone there. But no, and I retired. I thought, looking back now, I probably put the cue in the rack a little bit earlier than what I would like to have. But at the time, I thought it was the right thing to do. And then I was the water boy for 7 years.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed doing that as well. But Yeah, I just wish I could do it all again.
Yeah, don't we all, mate? Don't we all? Moving forward, beautiful family that you've got. A couple of daughters, lovely wife. What are you into now? What does the Scott Nielsen do these days?
Oh, wow. Well, lately it's amazing. The girls spend a lot of time on their phones, as all teenagers do. But I've got a fire pit in the backyard, and as soon as you crank that up, they tend to come out and sit down with us. So yeah, we're just trying to, obviously get them to hang around us. That's a strange part of them growing up, is they don't want to spend as much time with us. So yeah, that's what we basically try and do, is keep them, keep them with us.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, that's the part and parcel of having children, mate. I think they go through phases like that, obviously. But they come back around again. So, mate, nothing much else to talk about. Thank you very much for joining us, buddy.
Welcome.
You're a legend of the club. I love having you around. We're obviously good mates as well, and we see each other from time to time at different functions. So it's good that you're still around the club, mate, and hopefully see you soon and have a beer.
Will do.
Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you. Thanks for having me.
Well, we've got a Colts player with us. The Colts, Pigabeen, mate. Let's talk about that just briefly. I don't want to touch on it too much here, but let's talk about Pigabeen. I don't think that's a bad thing for the Colts, because you've been having a pretty good run of it, and this is probably the kick in the backside. You learn more from a defeat than you do from a win. Do you agree?
Yeah, I guess no one likes to say, no one wants to lose, but if you want to look at it like that, it's not bad for a loss. That's only our second loss all season. If you want to look at it like that, we can take a lot from it. So no one wants to lose. We're not out there to lose, but we can definitely take a lot from it.
How was Glitto? Was he? Well, we know what he's going to be like here, but he would have been probably. It's a tough road trip.
Yeah, it's a tough road trip. We haven't, in the last few years, actually, in the Colts comp, we haven't been great down there. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, he wasn't too up us. I guess he understood that we played well. It was a tough down there. What happened before the game and stuff like that, but we can take a lot from it, and that's what he was trying to point out.
Yeah, I'm not saying obviously he would have lost, gone off his brain, as he always does. He goes off his brain when he doesn't get the right money from the bartender or something. But it's obviously knows that there's weaknesses there, there's chinks in the armour, so he can address those.
For sure.
Last weekend you played up in the Bulimba side, because obviously Zak Taibi went up to Cup for the 18th man.
Yep.
How did you enjoy that experience, mate? Because out there on the paddock there against a pretty volatile Valley side, it was a great game in rugby league for the Bulimba boys. But how did you enjoy chiming in the back line there with you got Nat McGavin on the other side, you had Jackie Stafford, you had it was
loaded.
Galaxy Stars, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, we were pretty loaded. It was good. Got a lot of Cup boys, a lot of Cup experience in that back line, and it's good to play with them. It obviously brings out the best in me, helps me. They bring a lot to the team, and it was good to go down there just to play against, obviously, you're playing Colts every week.
Yep.
That was the ideal of it, and no, it was good.
All right. Now, your next assignment for Colts, I think you got to play Souths, is it?
Yes, yeah.
All right. How'd you go against him last time?
We haven't played them this year. Previously, last year, we did very well, but this will be our first time against them this week, next coming weeks. But it'll be a good test. We obviously want to back up against Tweed. They've been on a bit of roll. They want to get in the finals, and that's their goal. So they're going to come down here, as most teams have now, with how good we've been going this year. Every team's going to show up, so we have to bring it if we want to win.
The crazy thing about yourself and Tweed, you're both on the same competition points, but I think for and against it's 9 points or something.
Yeah,
crazy close.
I think even the top 2, but the top 5 or 6 is pretty close. So there's a lot.
So you can tumble down pretty quickly with a loss or two.
If you drop 2 games, you could fall down to 6 or fall out of the finals. So the top 5 is very close, and everybody wants to obviously finish top 4 because that's where you want to go. But yeah, you can't drop games in this Colts competition with only 3 games left.
Obviously, the Cup boys are going well as well. They didn't like Pigabeen either, just quietly. We'll move on. Hey, the Tigers, mate, how'd you get here? How'd you get to Totally Workwear Stadium?
Well, back in 2019, I moved up to Kira Park.
You're from Casino?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I moved up to Kira Park to obviously go there to play footy. And at that time, there was a connection between Kira and East. So that sort of brought me up here. I played my Mal season in 2020. We only got to play, obviously, 1 game because of all the COVID stuff, so they got cut short. But ever since then, that was where I've been, and that was connection that brought me here.
Kira Park, a massive school for rugby league. Now, listen, in your office, I do believe, now we've got a bit of a photo here, you did actually apply for Bachelor. of the new series.
Oh, we're going to pull that up. Is that what we're doing?
I don't understand why he didn't get the nod there. Somebody called Luke Bateman got ahead of you. I don't understand what happened there.
I
but,
don't know who pulled that through, but that was back. That was actually my form photos. Yeah,
exactly right. Mate, we do everything. We do a lot of digging here, as I do around the Pigabin place, because I got shallow graves down there.
I was looking better back then too.
Mate, you're looking pretty good. You look pretty good in the Bulimba #1 jersey last week, and obviously for Colts, good luck as you head towards the finals. It's always good to see fullbacks doing what they want. Just quickly on that game, Bulimba, what did Mitch Edwards say to you? Did you have free reign, or did you have
he pretty much
Brad said?
Nah, he pretty much just said like, obviously listen to Brad and Measy, the halves, but he said go out there play my game, and that's like
you did that.
That's my best attribute they want me to do. So went out there, did that, and came through good.
I think you did very well under the high ball as well. So they certainly peppered you with that sort of stuff because you're a new kid on the block, and I think you stood up quite nicely.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Lachlan West, Tigers Talk, one of our future stars right here. All right, Colts got another bye this weekend.
3 in a row, I think. They'll forget how to play. It's like pre-season again.
They can work on their bum fluff, a little bit of fertiliser on there. And obviously with the cup side, they're going to need to bounce back against PNG when they do come back. Footy, sometimes it's good to have a break. But does it fester, Gav, having a loss and you got to fester for 2 weeks with that in the back of your mind? Would you rather go to the break, obviously, with a win?
Obviously, you don't want to lose any time, but it gives them a bit of time to reflect. Also, you're right, they did drop down the ladder a little bit, but there's still plenty of time to get back up into that top 4.
All right. The NRLW competition is about to get underway here. We've got a double headers here coming up on the 9th of August. You get the tickets through Ticketek there, so come down here. The bar and the canteen, which my little friend to my right here will actually
frequent.
Right, yeah, mate.
Regularly.
Mr. Payne, they call him down there. Get your tickets on Ticketek. The Broncos are playing here, and they also has a one-off game a couple of weekends out. But check out the NRL website to get your tickets and come down here to Totally Workwest Stadium and see some the girls of the future.
Yeah, and a few new teams in the comp as well. The Cowboys are one of them. They're playing here on the 12th as well, so that'll be interesting to see how they go. Obviously, starting to spread the talent around, and that comp's super improved in the last 3 or 4 years since they've been professional. So get on down here.
Beautiful. All right, mate. We'll see you next week. Take it easy.
Will do.
Stay classy.
Cheers, mate.